Can you smell what the flock is cooking? Flock up and flock off. Not you. You stick around because it's about to go down. You know, flock, the most energetic entity in the Eagleverse. Here on the Maniac Monday, the Eagle Maniac is here with you. Flocking like we like to do around this time, about this time, at this time. Open your eagle eye, poke your beak in, and give it a ask with me what you gonna do. We're gonna chill out. So yeah, we're gonna get into a little bit of camp standouts, camp letdowns, and things going on in camp. Of course, you know, we got to talk about H1M, the man right there, top dog of all dogs. What is he talking about over here? Jalen Alexander, the great Hurts. But before we get into that, let's get the Nets keeping out of the way. Please like and subscribe. If you bought that fly, goes fly. Drop a comment in that box if you're flying with the flock. Even if you're not, do remember, join that Maniac thing. Know the gang. You hit that bell, you get a ding whenever I'm on this YouTube thing. And while that's the Maniac thing, let's keep the main thing the main thing. Hope this video finds you in good vibes. Flag with five skies. If you're not there, hope this helps you get there because we're about to go there. Oh, yeah. First things first, man. It's just, it's come to my mind. I heard last week, I believe it was Louis Riddick speaking about Jalen Hurts and, saying what he does, what he doesn't. And, if you're going by this, then you got to go by that. Or was it him or was it Harry Douglas? Maybe Hawk. Whatever the case may be, they always got something to say. If it's not him, it's someone else. It's everybody out there, regardless of what. I believe they compared him to a Porsche. They said, Porsches do what Porsche is supposed to do. You bring a Porsche off road, the Porsche ain't gonna do what it's supposed to do. The Porsche ain't built for off road. You bring it to a racetrack, yeah, the Porsche is gonna get busy. I was like, wait, we're calling Jalen Hurts a Porsche, Ferrari, something I gotta be tidied up and pristine and put places, man. I would compare Jalen Hurts to an ATV. Because Jalen Hurts, he could do things that these other quarterbacks can't do. And he could be places where these other quarterbacks can't be, namely the mud. That's when ATV is going crazy, off-road, whatever you want. But you could put that ATV on a regular road too, and it's still going to get to where it got to go. So, that's more what I'm seeing. Because like I said, he can do what they can't do. And he can be where they can't be. Like the weight room, the draft room, the Jordan board room, and most importantly, the trophy room, bro. What else do you want from him? It doesn't matter what you want from him, bro. Because we get it every time he goes out on that field, man. And like he said, we heard him say it before, it ain't always it's going to look like what Jalen Hurts wants it to look like. And that's what I've been learning more and more over these last few years. I used to say this, I used to have a saying, I'm pretty sure other people agree and other people have said it in different tones, but there are things that you can guarantee in life. Death, life, and Jalen Hurts is going to get better the next year. Now, one year we saw, I believe it was 23. Yes, the year before the Super Bowl, the year before last year. Season before last year. And, I keep watching that. That Buffalo game, man, that pass to Alameda, bro. Like, Alameda's a kid. It's crazy. Not to mention the stiff arm against the Jets. I tell everyone about that play whenever people talk about, but he doesn't do the stuff like this one or that one. I'm like, bro, I seen him literally bounce out of the pocket, stiff arm somebody. While stiff arm somebody, delivers the ball on a dart, on a line to A.J. Brown. Like, what is it? What are we really talking about here when saying he doesn't do this stuff? I think namely one of his first starts against the Arizona Cardinals. Gets the ball, he drops it, it bounces, he picks it right back on the rope, boom, once again, on the run, delivers the ball on a strike. Like, we see amazing things all the time. It's just, I believe when you have a quarterback as good as him, he's not going to pull it out all the time. He's not going to pull these tricks out all the time because he doesn't need to. Just because he doesn't do it, and we've heard we heard Coach Nixon Sirianni say it, we've heard Jalen Hurts say it, we heard A.J. Brown say it, we heard countless members of the Eagles say it. Just because we don't do it doesn't mean we can't do it. We play winning football. This is what we do over here. This is what our team does. So all this pomp and circumstance, all this bluff and bluster, all that stuff that you need, the accoutrement, the sugar and the spices and all that, we don't need that, man. We just need hard, rough, tough-nosed, hard-nosed football, bro. That's what we're doing out here, and that's how we get it done, at least in my estimation. I don't think he's given enough credit for the things that he does, but that's not what he does it for. That's not what the team does it for. Furthermore, what we saw just now, the Madden ratings came out, and we saw him behind Jared Goff. And you know what? Mega Maniac was like, dude, what is he like? How? Are you crazy? I'm like, I don't mind it. Because, we can see that Jared Goff had a great year last year. Him being tied with Herbert, I guess, there was a time and place when we would think that would be an upgrade. Like, okay, he's tied with Herbert, because then other people, they want to bring up the winning aspects and the notions of it, like Jalen Hurts wins, Herbert doesn't. But I mean, I think when they're doing these ratings, they're just talking about, and it sucks that this is the case, but I mean, it is what it is. But I do believe that winning has to be a metric in there somewhere, though, right? Like, it should boost them up a little bit more, at least in the fourth quarter of these video games. Like, Jalen Hurts, attributes go up. Like, he's gonna give you more. If it's winning situations, his attributes go up. And I know, like, arm to arm, Herbert. I mean, Jalen Hurts. See, then I just watched the top 25 best throws from Jalen Hurts. Amazing. Whatever. The Eagles just put it up. I was trying to leave it. No, I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it. But regardless of what, he's throwing darts all over the place, scrambling plays and all kinds of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Still getting that ball to where it needs to be. Not to mention, probably throws one of the best deep balls in the game. I asked Mega Maniac that. I'm like, is there a metric for deep balls? You know what I'm saying? Deep ball accuracy or something like. So if Jalen Hurts drops back in the game, he throws it deep to A.J. Brown. I mean, I imagine A.J. Brown's attributes is all the way up too. So that's probably going to end up as a completion anyway. But I think his numbers need to be put up on that regard, because the dude throws one of the best deep balls in the game. Then I'm like, when we're talking about the Staffords and, I mean, Mahomes, the top guys, it's going to be Lamar, Josh, and this is a video game. We have to remember this. This isn't, like real ratings on real games and stuff like that, whatever the case may be. So you got, of course, Lamar, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes up there, Joe Burrow. So you figure, you want Jalen Hurts to be right around that area, right? And then you see a Matt Stafford and a Jared Goff, right? And you're like, these dudes do have pretty good arms. You see they both had great seasons, but then I got to take another step back, because like I said, I watched the top 25. Past that, this dude is just delivering out there, dropping dimes, you feel me? And then, not just that, I'm like, okay, wait, but where's the legs at? So if they're giving him attributes for his legs, so that means they're even putting his passing down even lower than that, being that he is at an 86. I'm like, an 86 is a pretty good score. But I get where Mega Maniac is coming from. Like, nah, dude, he's got to be high. Sometimes he chumps, he big ups the team a bit more than even I do. You know what I mean? He has our boys back, because sometimes I try to look at things through a clear lens, albeit I know I'm the Eagle Maniac, and more often than not, I'm looking at the world through eagle colored glasses. But sometimes, like I said, when I started this thing, I really wanted to do it with the premise of flipping the pillow, you know what I mean? And that definitely went completely the other way, because I'm just psycho crazy about my flock and Eagles, you know what I'm saying? Regardless of what, but just at least in certain segments, in certain instances, flip the pillow, you know what I'm saying? Get off the hot take, flip the pillow, cool out, you know what I'm saying? Try to see things from both sides. Bit of an unbiased, objective take, maybe, possibly. It's hard for me to do that. But regardless of what, in this instance, like, I try to understand, see where they're coming from, because they're ultimately, like I say all the time, and it doesn't matter to me, that one column is a column. I am an Eagles fan. I rep the names on the back all the time. Love our dudes. However, it's the team thing, and the team, it's getting us to wins. 2 Super Bowls in the last 8 years, bro. Like, come on, like this, as Eagles fans, y'all know. That's the bottom line. I don't need super fly, flashy quarterback that ain't getting you playoff wins, bro. I don't need super fly, super dope wide receiver that's not getting you playoff wins. I don't need super fly, dope, whatever you got, man. But it seems like we got, like, all of those. Because I believe it was Bonnie Jones brought it up the other day. It's like, if you look at Jalen Hurts isn't the best guy on this team. So when you're looking at all these ratings and all that, and people bringing up the team around him, I know it's a weird way to go when talking about the team, because it seems like they don't do this for other people. But, like, Jalen Hurts probably won't even crack the top 10 of this team. And that's great, because he could be top 5 quarterback in the NFL. But damn near almost every position group, we may have the top guy in the league at that position group. Running back, arguably wide receiver, arguably nickelback, arguably defensive back. Like, it goes down the line. Arguably offensive lineman. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, it gets crazy. You might be around 10 when you come to Jalen Hurts' best player on the team. Like, he's like it's just wild. And I'm not trying to poo-poo Jalen Hurts at all, because I'm the biggest rep of all, and H1M, Jalen Alexander the Great Hurts. He is that dude. And I believe, and that's the other thing that I don't believe they bring into account, because it's just like, well, if someone else had this and that, like, no, it doesn't just work like that. We've seen this time and time again. I used to think the same thing about Phil Jackson. Like, bro, like, dude, you could put anybody on these teams, and then you start seeing these super teams get built and them not rising to the same pedigree that the Bulls of those Lakers teams did. It takes a certain dude to be in a locker room and bring guys together to not only just, listen to him. Just listen to him, let alone, I was there for that game one year. By the way, today we're watching the, what was this? This came on Roku a few weeks ago. I shouted that out. Fly Eagles Fly. 2024 season. Super Bowl champions in 2024 Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah, boy. Loving that. And yeah, that Giants game, bro. I was there, boy. I was in the building. I felt like that was the game when it was like, oh, snap. Like, we really different. Albeit it was against the lowly property franchise, New York Giants. Gosh, we did what we were supposed to do to them. Smacked them up, yacked them up, sent them home packed up. I love it. So we've got that going on. And Jalen Hurts is just, the consummate professional. He does everything that we need this team to do. He gets the guys to listen to him, not just listen to him, but also follow him. And then you see the humility in him also. When talking to some of the guys, especially when talking to Saquon, you heard like 3 guys. I know Saquon must have felt crazy, albeit it's probably wasn't one of his worst games of the season. I would think that he would say that the Falcons game was probably the worst game of the season, being that he may have felt that he squandered away the game, albeit that defense could have still stopped him. But all of us, we all did blame Saquon regardless. But now everything's a lot different now. It's like, nah, you can't blame Saquon for nothing, man. That defense should have stood strong. But these are all growing pains and things that they needed to do. Regardless of what, Saquon Barkley didn't have the greatest game in the Super Bowl, and you see Jalen Hurts come to him saying, you're the missing piece. You see Harry Rosen running, I love you. You see the coach saying, missing piece. You see the owner coming up, oh, I forgot about the owner. The owner walking him to a missing piece. Like, you were the one that we needed. You was like, because then that's what, sometimes in this leading into camp, right? We're transitioning into camp after this. Like, I loved Jalen Hurts. I just felt the need. I had to speak on him. I missed Thursday last week, so got to get in here and just get on that on the Maniac Monday. Big up our boy, because, once again, like I said, it doesn't really bother me that he doesn't get the respect but it does. You know what I'm saying? I can't lie. Well, front. You know what I'm saying? Clearly, I'm speaking on it, right? However, so then you see all the credit that he does, the humility that he has, giving the credit to Saquon and other members of the team and other members of the front office, right? And you just see that what he brings to the team, just in that what we needed last year was that leadership role. And I believe he's the type of leader that can fill all gaps, any leaks that we may have as far as leadership, morale, energy, whatever you need him to do. I believe he can present that. It's like I said, last year it was like we needed a galvanizing force, because it seemed like things were falling apart. He's just like that glue guy, and more than a glue guy, 100%. But he could just bring the whole damn squad together. So when we lost CJGJ this past summer, we're thinking to ourselves, and this is how we're getting into camp, we're thinking to ourselves, where are we going to get that energy from? Where are we going to get that edge from? We know that it's needed. There's something there, because not only did Saquon step into the locker room again last year, CJGJ also stepped back into that locker room last year, and he is the reoccurring factor, the missing ingredient to per se in this sense, is that we got to the Super Bowl in 22, missed it in 23, got back in 24. The common denominator was CJGJ, right? But then, like I said, once again, we had Saquon walk into that locker room too, not to mention the likes of Zach Vaughn and other guys, Becton and blah, blah, blah. But CJGJ just seems to be that energy guy for me. But this camp, the other day, I believe it was Friday, I guess your boy Saquon was on one. But maybe he saw reading Coop on the Exciting Mike's podcast, sitting there yucking it up like when he gets mad, how I laugh like, oh, they think it's a game. You think it's funny, huh? The flock, you mean? He came out there on one and just proceeded to take over the whole practice. Not to mention that came after about 2 days of the defense dominating the offense as far as drills went, right? So he came out there, he brought that energy. He had an edge going with him. He was talking trash to damn near everybody, from what I understand. He's talking to Kyle Smile Munden. He's talking to Jeremiah Trotter Jr. He's going at Jalen Carter. He's going at anybody that gave him the second of a look in anything. He was giving it to him. Hook, line, and sinker, everything that they wanted and more. And I'm just loving to hear that from a star like that. To be pumped like that in a training camp session is just top-notch, bar none. Best dude that we could ever ask for. Grateful that he's a Philadelphia Flying Eagle. I mean, he just does it. So on that instance, you're wondering where you can get that edge, where you can get that extra from. Saquon Barkley is filling that gap, right? Filling that hole right now, as it stands, at least as far as we see this far into the season, this far at least into the postseason, the bowl season, preseason, whatever you want to call it, training camp. He is fulfilling that He's fulfilling that right now. Look at Carter Smith Jr. Oh, it's fucking awesome when you think of the weapons that we have going into this season. And not to mention another weapon, another dude that is possibly stepping up in that energy notion, bringing that edge, at least for the defense. I mean, I just feel like we got a bunch of dogs, but then you just need that crazy little bit psycho CJGJ in there. And Barkley's doing a little bit of it, but it's amazing to see that the other person doing this is a flocking rookie. Coming in here, not giving no flocks. He's coming in, setting it down, staking his claim for the reign, for that, whatever you want to put him at, he can do that. They're talking about he's limited in practice the other day. The dude was playing linebacker and edge. Like, if that's limited, I believe it was Ashlyn Sullivan saying, if that's him at limited, I would hate to see what this guy does at full strength, because he's out here knocking people out, roughing people up. Ben Van Sumeren, I believe he nudged, who's it? Dallas Goedert. Few other guys. Like, he's out there causing havoc, wreaking havoc, doing whatever it takes to make this team and make everyone else better. And you love to see that, not only in a player, but especially in a rookie. What Jahad Campbell is bringing to this team, I just can't wait to see, especially when you think about over the middle. I've heard many people echo this sentiment. Then across the middle, you got two long, tall, rangy, fast dudes in the middle, and the guys of Zach Bond and Jahad Campbell. If he does get the starting position, like, it's just going to be ridiculous. And if seems to be an afterthought, but I don't want to assume anything regardless of whom or what. I believe he's out here doing the damn thing, and I just can't wait to see how this comes to fruition in the regular season with these guys over the middle. Not to mention the brilliance of Fang Gang, man. Fang Gang, Vic Fangio, Bang Bang, Fang Gang. I'm here for this 24/7, 365, man. You know how we fly. Oh my gosh. Like, it's about to get real stupid, y'all, and I'm just hyped, overwhelmed. All kinds of weird emotions is going through me, man. We got 3 days until the season starts, man. 3 days until the preseason starts. 31 days until the season starts. I cannot flocking wait. I'm losing my mind. Jordan Davis out here looking like a whole brand new person, brand new energy. Then you got Moro Ojimo causing havoc, going crazy in here. I'm hearing Josh Uche is doing work over here. So it's just, and I thought it was going to be Ojolari, but, and you know, I'm hearing people talking about the defensive line and where we're going to go with this, how we're going to get there. Like, dude, like, we got guys. I'm seeing the rotation. I know it's all potential right now as it stands. I just don't really see these doubts. Go Birds. I don't see where these doubts are coming from with these guys. I mean, I guess even when, like I was telling a customer the other day, even when you say, I think this has happened, that denotes a certain hint of doubt itself, because you're not saying that you know. You're saying that you think, which leaves a hint of doubt in there somewhere to seep in. So I get where people are coming from. Right now, it's all thoughtful process, thinking process, what could happen, potential, and all kinds of things of that sort. So I understand it. However, I feel like I can see it. I feel like, see, yet another hint of doubt. But a guy that everyone seems to have been down on before he even, hops on the field. Another thing where a lot of things I agree with Ashlyn Sullivan. If you don't know, she's with NBC Sports Philadelphia, speaking on the Eagles. She was on with Dave Zangara last week. Ruben Frank was down at the Hall of Fame. Let's give it up to Eric Allen, man. Remember, we've been pumping that for a few years now to see it finally happen. Not to mention, right, a year after damn Super, she's like, what? Oh, I heard it was an amazing week for him. The week that, I think we were talking about that too here on the show, on other shows, like, Eric Allen had to be an amazing week. The Eagles win the Super Bowl. He gets the call that he's inducted into the Hall of Fame. What could be flocking better? I mean, probably him winning a Super Bowl with those 91 Eagles. That would have been great. But, hey, all things are good now, sunshine and rainbow. I love it over here, right? Love being a fan of the flocking Eagles, especially in this version, in this iteration of the Eagles. This time frame is just flocking amazing. Like I said, 2 Super Bowls in 8 years. This is super dope, y'all. Like, embrace it, take it in. Don't let no one take it from you. So, like, yeah, when people talking all this trash that they talk about Jalen Hurts and other things about the team, man, that's just hater talk, man. That's jealousy. This is what people are going to do. They're going to project their violence upon you. Don't let it happen, man. Keep flying high. Flappy hour, 24/7, 360 fly. You already know, right? So, we've got that going on, and the guys coming up in camp. I'm just hyped to see what we're going to see with this defensive line. So, Ashlyn Sullivan, I heard her speaking to the thing about Sidney Brown. Sidney Brown is definitely a guy that I'm big on. He's a guy that I've liked since he's come in, and I feel like he's done nothing but produce. I mean, I've heard of some bad hits. I'm hearing about some things in practice. These are things that I can't see, so I can only go off of what I can see. She's there at practice, so you know what I mean? She has that over me. But it's like that potential thing, like, Like I just don't think him over the middle, over the top, him in the post. I don't trust it. And I'm just thinking every time I've seen Sidney Brown make a play, it's deep. You know what I mean? And he's returning, and he's a ball hawk. What he has all of like maybe 20 freaking snaps in the NFL. He probably has way more than that. But I've seen 2-3 interceptions already. That percentage is ridiculous. So he's covering the field. He's a ball hawk. He does what needs to be done. He's a man who plays with his hair on fire, which I love. Which could be another person that could replace something like that. Energy could replace CJGJ. He seems to play with that same sort of edge, if not more. I mean, it's hard to bring more edge than CJGJ, right? I don't know. And I don't get it twisted. Like, I'm definitely big on Drew McCouba, but I just like the way that we do this thing, albeit I feel like it's different on the defensive side of the ball, especially with a Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio seems to have no qualms about playing rookie whoever. The second you get drafted, you're instantly a professional. You're playing professional sports. He doesn't believe in all that rookie. You got to earn your keep and all that stuff. Like, you ball. You feel me? You ball, you going in. You're getting on the field. So, on that accord, I don't believe what I'm about to say lands true with the defense. However, with a lot of things with this team, you'll see like a guy get built up. No, we're looking at a case and example right here. And the guys of Milton Williams. Milton Williams, albeit that was through the course of like about 2-3 different defensive coordinators. But Milton Williams had to rise up through the gaps. I mean, there was a time, I believe, was Jernigan around for him any of these times? Greens? Regardless of what. He's behind Fletch. Yeah, he was behind a few guys, and then boom, last year you saw everything come to fruition. He went and did it. And then you've got right now Moro Ojimo, who had to sit behind Milton Williams, of course. And now they say he's flashing in training camp, and he's the next up. And then he can go and proceed and go and do what he has to do. And I guess in cases like that, it does reign true. However, that's not reign true. In cases like Drew McCouba, it could reign true. If you've got Sidney Brown now, he's got a full training camp under his belt. He go out there, he's performing, he's showing he's not being left behind by any means. He's out there doing the work. So if it's his time, it's his turn. Let him do what he needs to do. And if Drew does show that he can stand the test of time, can get through training camp unscathed over these next few days, perhaps even have a good showing in the preseason games, by all means, give him the tag, starter, let him go. However, right now, man, I'm just big on Sidney Brown, loving to hear that he's doing what he's doing. It sucks that Drew is going through what he's going through, because perhaps maybe he will be out there. But this is how, this is the reason why Sidney wasn't getting that much burn last year, because of his injury, and he wasn't able to be in training camp. Especially with a defense as complex and Fangio's is. These guys have to be there, and he's the type of guy, old school, he got to see you on the field. You know what I'm saying? All them walkthroughs and all them drills and all that things you talking, yeah, that's cool and all, but I got to see it on the field. Another guy that I'm big on is Ringo. I'm hearing that he's been stepping up the last few days. Keely Ringo stepping up is massive for us. I don't have anything against Dory Jackson. I've always liked Dory Jackson since his days in Tennessee, And it's dope to see that he's an instant compadre, if you will, in this locker room. Just cool with all the guys. He said he got Jalen Hurts to laugh the other day, cracked a joke about something in USC, and seeing him go from that to this is amazing. Hear Matt Pryor talking about the growth of Jordan Mailata and just the guys that we bring in. I just feel like we do such a good job at that. Albeit, I meant to hop on here last week after we heard Vic Fangio just basically seemed like he destroyed Adoree. Like, bro. But Adoree seems to be taking it all in stride. They asked him if he heard. He said he didn't hear, but I believe he did hear what he said. He's trying to play it off. He had a little smirk, or maybe he was like, oh, this motherfucker talking about me, huh? It doesn't sound like it's in a positive way either. But it seems to be like he's taking well to Vic's style of coaching, knowing that he has to go out there and prove it. He said the proof is in the pudding. Speaks for itself. The fact that he's been in the league for 9 years, I'm no slouch. But most of us, most Eagles fans, me included, would definitely feel more secure in Ringo snatching that job, taking it by the talons, and taking off with it, However, I believe the backups and other guys like Mac over there doing his damn thing. So it just seems like we put together a great cast, not to mention with the personalities that we bring into this locker room. And I credit that all to Don. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Don. Yeah. Damn, I was on to this guy before a lot of fans was, and I'm over forgetting my homeboy's name. Whatever. I credit all that to Don, our head of security. You know what I'm saying? I believe he goes out there, does his due diligence on players that he feels will fit in this locker room, and then we go on and we execute. Albeit, like I said, Fangio said, like, I didn't watch any tape on him. I ain't really know too much about him, but if how he wants to go grab a guy, how he grabs a guy. I ain't got nothing to do with that, which is a dope. It's a dope separation of church and state that I love my organization to have. You know what I'm saying? That's what he does. But you also do want some correspondence with the guy picking out the groceries and the guy cooking the groceries. You know what I'm saying? However, I just believe whatever. I believe one of the defensive players said it. I don't know. I think it was Cooper DeJean or Blankenship. Like, dude, it just seems like whoever they threw out there, speaking to the fact when Oren Burks came out there, like, whoever you threw out there, we just meshed last year. Like, it was like not to play anybody's part, not to diminish anybody's part, but just the way that this team prepares their backups is beyond reproach. It's super dope. Like, next man up mentality really equates to this team. And it's dope to see. I mean, there was a time just, 2-3 years ago, it was like Jalen Hurts was damn near on the level of Lane Johnson. If Jalen Hurts wasn't in the game, we were more than likely losing the game. And that's nothing against Gardner Minshew. That's our dude. Love the flock out of Gardner Minshew his time here. The Mariotas of the world, didn't get to know him too well, but always like Jay Mariota? Whatever the flock his name is. And then you've got Jay Mariota. That's the dude from Around the Horn. Wow. But regardless, you got him. But now to have a Tanner McKee, a guy that is he's out, he goes out there and he does the damn thing. I feel like, not that I would ever wish this on us. I don't even know how we got into this, why the I word is in my brain. But just talking to like backups, preparing like starters, and just like there's no like one don't stop the show. We going regardless. Yeah. And I ain't going to say what I want to say because it just sounds crazy. I don't want to speak on things of that ilk. But, just seeing these guys step up, man. Ringo, Steen stepping up, Sidney Brown, Mac. And I know I was going to say guys that have been underwhelming. I really can't point to anything except for one thing that's got me, that kind of threw me for a loop yesterday. I'm sitting here watching a movie with the fam, then it pops up on the alert that we signed a long snapper. I'm like, what are we doing over here? We could have stayed with Lovato for this. What's going on? Like, is there something going on in the operation? But from what I understand, Charlie Hamlet, whatever the flock his name is, the long snapper, Huglet, he's going through a bit of something right now, so I believe it's nothing big. I believe they got a long snapper, of course, because you're still going to need your reps. You're still going to need Jake Elliott, Braden Mann. They're still going to need to do what they got to do. They're still going to need that operation to keep going. So it's dope. It's never dope because if you really have a long snapper getting danked up and you wanted that operation to be clean, super pristine, because last year left a lot to be desired as far as that went, albeit your boy did what he does in the playoffs. I believe he missed one. He missed an extra point, but I believe he's still 100% as far as field goals in the playoffs. So Jake Elliott's still doing his damn thing. But in the regular season, it wasn't so much. So you want that operation to be super squeaky clean, and we don't need to have any hiccups or anything. And much to him, speaking on Reed Blankenship, like I said, he must have heard him on the show, but Reed is hilarious as hell. They was talking to him after the practice the other day, said, what do you think about Saquon Barkley coming out here like that? He's like, he's no BG. You feel me? He got to step that up if he wants to get on that ring. He ain't scaring nobody. I love it. I love the energy. I love the leadership that Reed Blankenship brings to the room. We've heard about the leadership that he brought to the room, but hearing it was Andrew McCool. It was actually Drew McCouba. Drew Moo! So dope. I can't wait to the things that I'm going to yell when he makes a play. Regardless of what, you got Reed Blankenship, you've got Drew Moo talking about Reed Blankenship and the leadership that he brings to the room. He's like, you know what, at any given all the time, like I'm attached at the hip of Reed Blankenship. Anytime I get a chance to speak to him or learn from him, I take it upon myself to ask a question, something, somehow, some way. Like, that's that dude. To see the respect that he garners in that room, to hear from another guy, we heard Slade say it. But that Slade saying is sometimes you take things that Slade says with a grain of salt. However, a lot of things that he used to say, even though it was a bit silly, a lot of things he said were proven to be true. Like, he's one of them dudes. I'm going to miss him. However, Reed Blankenship stepping up into that role, and it seems to be flawlessly, effortlessly. We're talking about a dude, an undrafted free agent. Not to mention, did you hear our boy's jersey is in the Football Hall of Fame as far as Eagles paraphernalia from the Super Bowl win, like Sirianni's headset. I believe we've got Devontae's jersey in there too. I think Coops, cleats, a few other things over there, man. Super damn dope. And this is a guy, an undrafted free agent from a mid-tier one school, I guess you could say, right? Was it even one? Middle Tennessee State? Regardless of whom or what, this dude is in the Hall of Fame and a leader of a Super Bowl, a leader of a room of a Super Bowl champion team. Like, you know, well, this isn't a Super Bowl champion team, but you know what I mean, right? And to hear these guys speak that about him, it's super dope, and I just can't wait to see. I believe I misspoke a few weeks ago. I thought they took care of Reed's money. I thought they extended him or something, but however, I just heard from Rube and Dave that Rube like I know these guys, Rube and Frank and Dave Zangaro on the Eagle Eye podcast, that they haven't even touched that yet, which is wild. I mean, I don't even know how to feel about that. I thought that was a done deal, so it would have been dope to have Reed locked up for a few years, you know, just to solidify that, especially now knowing the leadership role that he presents in that locker room. Like I said, there was a few people that I want to touch on that haven't quite risen to the capabilities, but I really can't think of anyone off top. I mean, I did think that Ojulari was going to go out there, gang buses, and cause chaos, cacophony, mayhem, and all kinds of things. However, it seems to be Josh Uche so far, so good, whatever, I'll take it. I do believe Ojulari did record a sack a few days ago in practice. However, we've heard more about Josh Uche, Antoine Powell-Ryland, you know what I'm saying? I wanted a lot more from him, but I heard he had a great rep the other day against the offensive lineman. Was Lamb, yeah, that guy. Had people turning him like a turnstile. However, you know, it's still good to hear. More Ojimo's in there doing work. We haven't heard a lot about Jordan Davis, but what we heard from Jalen Carter, man, they had Jalen Carter in there for a minute, boy. I know he was looking like, okay, because you heard his voice at the beginning of them asking questions. He was hyped, ready to go. Then it's just like, yeah, all right, damn. They had him. They seemed like they had him over there for like 10 minutes, but I imagine when you grab a Jalen Carter, not to mention, I believe it was his first day in pads, first day in 11-on-11s. So, you know, and people, I imagine, whoever it is, chomping at the bit to talk to Jalen Carter, perhaps one of the best candidate, probably a candidate, early preseason candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. Woo, that would be dope. But, you know, like I said, we have bigger dreams, bigger aspirations, bigger goals. But and like much like he said in his interview, if I do everything that I need to do, the accolades and all the other stuff has come. I'm just trying to get better every day. He was speaking to the fact that Jordan Davis is probably faster than him, got bigger feet. He said, I don't really want to say it, but you know, real is real. And how, you know, Jordan Davis is like a leader basically for him, like someone that he looks up to. Followed him in Georgia, followed his lead in Georgia, and he said he's doing the same thing here. And it seems to be panning out, working out for him. Jordan Davis just has to get to himself to where he wants to be. Like I said, I am not dissatisfied with what I've seen with Jordan Davis over the past few years. I know people look at the number he was drafted in, the production and what it says on the stat sheet. I just know what our run defense looked like before Jordan Davis and what it looked like after Jordan Davis. Full stop. Get the flock out of my face. But he doesn't just want to be a run stuffer. Good for him. He wants to get those accolades that he sees his homeboy getting. Like, oh, I see how to get that in the NFL. You get sacks. You get that yak. You get people talking about you behind your back in good ways. You know, so good luck to him on that. Jordan Davis, I mean, I can't say I see anything. Oh, I mean, I guess it would be killing Ringo. People, because, you know, you want him to snatch that. I believe what Vic Fangio really is doing, I'm pretty sure his voice reiterated to him the other day because I heard he had a big pass breakup with Dallas Goedert, did a little flex. Confidence is key for a cornerback. You already know that. I'm just echoing what I heard from the Eagle Eye podcast. But I do believe him having that was probably part and parcel due to his teammates lifting him up, saying, bro, you know what Vic is doing, man. He's throwing the Dorian head here and there, making you know that everything is earned, nothing's given. You got to go out there and snatch that thing. So just because I believe they may have seen this from Ringo before. You'll see flashes, just not the consistency. And perhaps a way of embedding consistency is by letting the dude know, like, just because you did something doesn't mean you did something. You feel me? So you got to go out there and do it again, and again. It's not getting there. It's staying here. Don't get it till you can't get it right. No, don't do it till you can't. Don't do it till you get it right. Do it till you can't get it wrong. You heard famous words of Nick Saban, man. And then we get into a little bit of the Commanders, Cowboys, Giants, bums of the NFC East. At least what I've seen so far. You know, it's a circus over there in Washington and a circus over there in Dallas. I don't quite get what they're doing. It's wild to me to have guys of this ilk. You got a Micah Parsons not paid. I mean, it feels like a real show. I would love if he went to the Jets. I don't know why. It's just a thing in my mind. I just think Aaron Glenn got an affinity for him. Ever since I saw what we did to him, I was at the game when we decimated the Lions. I believe it was Halloween 22 or 23. The first Super Bowl run. And the first Super Bowl run and then the current iteration of first Jalen Hurts Super Bowl, first Sirianni Super Bowl run. and we destroyed the Lions, man. And I recall pundits talk about Aaron Glenn's defense and his defense style. I remember I was with optimistic Giants fan out there in Detroit. He's like, yo, Aaron Glenn, he's got this real lazy, blah defensive scheme. Like, he's not going after anybody, sit back, playing zone, things that many Eagle fans have hated. Defensive coordinators just sitting on the sticks. I mean, but when it works, it works. When you do it right, it works. However, that iteration of it was not working for Aaron Glenn, and we destroyed them. Yeah, I know I said that like 10 times already. Just want to let you know how thoroughly we decimated the Detroit Lions that game, right? But I saw after that game, Aaron Glenn just went off, just went on a tear. Like, you know what? If I'm going out fighting, because his job was definitely on the line. He was about to get the flock up out of there. And then we've seen this Detroit defense turn around over the last 2 years. Last year was one of his greatest magic jobs ever, because, they had about 22 dudes. You only got 11 starters, right? Like, they had an amazing number of players on that defensive side of the ball. Lost to injury for the season, and they were still performing top-notch up until, they ran into the bum bandits in the playoffs, and they damn near almost pulled out that game, but they showed up a little late to their own stadium, which was weird to me. Whatever. Thank you. I didn't want to see them anyway. Even though I think we would have smacked them up too. So we got, especially with, regardless of what. So I say that to say, I just don't know what they're doing down there in Dallas. And if Micah gets up out of there, I would be more than happy. However, I don't think it's going to happen. Mike, I think the same thing that's going on. I believe NFL players have figured out how to do what NBA players have been doing for a while. And the new thing is, writing something crazy on Instagram, Twitter, whatever the case may be, and saying, you know what, I'm out of here, blah, 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 take my picture down and all that. They tried that before, but, it seems a bit stronger the way they're doing it. So I just don't get why to do it. I understand if we're talking money, none of us can really argue anything that Jerry Jones does. But when we're talking winning, I don't believe things like this lend itself to winning, man. It puts a chink in the armor of camaraderie, a chink in the armor of loyalty, respect. You're not, especially when, C.J. Watt said it the best himself, and then Michael Parsons echoed it. And I've heard other players echo the same thing. Like, I know it's something that us as fans, we talk about. Like injuries, the best abilities, availability, and da-da-da. I like the way Quinyon flipped that too, man. Oh, no, Ringo flipped that. Like, availability is the best ability, like being available to play different positions, things of that sort. Super dope. However, different positions, different sides of the ball. You defend both sides of the ball. You could defend on both sides, regardless. But, it's cool for us to say availability is the best ability. We're fans and all, but hearing that, that's not something the owners should be saying, dogs. Like, just like they've all been saying, this is a man putting his on the line, of course, for the bag, but for your team, for your organization, without even getting paid yet. I believe there's only one other player who's got 12 sack seasons over their first 3 years. That's the Minister of Defense himself, Reggie fucking White. You feel me? And you playing with this man's money? I get it's a strategy to keep your name in the zeitgeist and the current flow of the media sphere and all of that. But do you really need it? I heard for an extra hundred, you get hundreds of millions of free pub when we're talking about your team. There's other ways you could create talk and at least bring your player in on it. Who knows? Maybe Micah is in on it. Just sounds weird when the owner's not talking to his best player's agent. It's crazy. And then you're trying to do backdoor dealings, under the table bulls. This is wild to me. That an owner can operate like this in real life of the most lucrative football team in the sports franchise in the world, right? I believe so. But if that's how you get to your bag, that's how you get to your bag. Don't expect it to lead you to championships, man. And then you take it even, and then just another thing about the Cowboys, just something I've been thinking about, because it drives me crazy that they're even in the NFC East. Like, what are you doing? So they play football in the NFC East. They're in the middle of the damn country. And then they practice in Cali. Like, what? These are just added stresses that I believe a team doesn't need if they're trying to get to where they're trying to go, albeit they've won championships in the past. So clearly, I guess it can work. But in the current climate of things, when you take into account all the things that players have to do to get ready nowadays, we don't got players having 2 jobs nowadays. We don't got players smoking cigarettes in the locker room anymore. We ain't cracking bears on the sideline, you feel me? A lot goes into this. And the less stress you put on your team, the more they can impress on the field. At least in my estimation, I don't know, call me crazy. But these are just wild things. But I get it in a marketing way because, you're in the middle of the country. You're play your football in the Eastern time zone, which is creme de la creme. I mean, that's where most of the odds are going to be anyway. And then you practicing over in the West Coast, and you got fans over there. So as far as getting money for that damn team, that's going to work. I'm just saying, I just don't think these things in the current climate of the NFL lend itself to winning. And another team that wasn't doing anything lending itself to winning over the past 20, 30 years has been the Commanders, Bumanders, as I say. And they're back to just doing dumb stuff again. They want to, like I said a few weeks ago, man, you got the oldest roster in the league. And of course, I get it, you want to get younger, but you've got a guy, Terry McLaurin. He's not, you know, he gets nicked up here and there. He doesn't get injured to the ilk of Deebo Samuels. And you're going to grab that guy, hitch your boat to that guy when you had a guy already who does the damn thing and could have gathered a multitude of other guys. Perhaps younger guys want to come up and you want to try and get younger by cutting this guy short perhaps a year early. Maybe next year, you know, they're looking into it because, like, why extend them? We'll get rid of them next year, blah, blah, blah. And we can get younger receivers. I don't know what the flock they're thinking, dog, but it makes me laugh, and I'm definitely here for it. I'm like, a young quarterback, you figure he needs all his reps, all the reps he can get with his number one. But then again, maybe he doesn't because they've already got a rapport. I believe they didn't. Yeah, I mean, no, you look how long it took them to sync last season. I think it was going up to like week 5, week 6. Then they started to click because initially, you know, Terry McLaurin was on the sidelines like, yo, these young mother. I am quarterback proof. What is going on? Can't connect with this top-notch dude. So regardless, they got their thing together. And as long as they not, I'm with it. Shut the flock up. I'm going my own way. And then I'm hearing a lot of things about Giants training camp. You know, I speak to an optimistic Giants fan all the time. But, you know, just it popped across my eagle rhythm. It popped across my eagle rhythm. And I saw, Locked On Giants. So, you know what I'm saying? I just let it play. And what he's saying is different than what she's saying, man. I don't know, OG. I don't know. You got to let me know if maybe she wasn't the right person to listen to. However, you know, she's saying, he spoke, my initial take on them was that they need someone next to Dexter Lawrence to try and, you know, get this thing going back in the right direction. Otherwise, we could just key on him. And you know how we do when we could key on a top-notch Hall of Fame work. Well, I don't know if Dexter Lawrence is quite there yet, but when I'm talking about guys like Aaron Donald said, I was asked who did he have the hardest time with, he said it was the Eagles. Jason Kelsey, just like Nick, like every game, we'd let him see no snaps without being double teamed. Are you crazy? We're not going to let Aaron Donald wreck our game. Anybody else? Not you, my dude. Relax. Sit your ass down, boy. That was a little crazy. But you got Dexter Lawrence, and we could key on him too. So I believe they picked up some, I always forget his fucking name. He said there's this kid from Toledo. And then there's another dude that I'm thinking of. I thought he was from Kentucky. Regardless of what, they picked up some dude in the draft. He hasn't been showing out much at camp. He's leaving a lot to be desired. I haven't heard anything about the guy Golston. You've got Cam Scatterbull. He's nicked up. He's always, I believe, if I recall correctly, he's always had a bit of an injury thing because he plays so damn hard. And, you know, he could be a crazy part of that offense. However, you know, he's still going to have to step in a pass pro, and that's what a lot of them want to see over there. How can he protect? Because you got a lot of dogs in this NFC East that's coming to hunting for your quarterback, and your quarterback ain't as nimble as he used to be. Jackson Dart, from what she said, he's so we don't know. No, they got Andrew. Was it Andrew Phillips? Phillips said he was playing blind last year, so that's super scary. Him stepping up could be a thing. But other than that, you don't hear much coming out of Giants camp. Let them stay quiet, do their thing over there. I heard she said Darius Slayton he talks him up, gives him good talk. So, yeah, I mean, it's just odd to me. It's weird to me. I'm saying all this to say that it's weird to me. Albeit, you know, I'm going to poo-poo some of the things that they're doing. Oh, yeah, and Abdul Carter's a whole beast. Who cares, right? So, then they've got all those things going on over there. And, you know, a little knickknacks here and there. But it's just funny to me that out of the 3 teams in our division that we're going against, the one that seems most stable now is the New York Giants. That's crazy to me. Good on them. And I told you it was just something scary about them. For me, in the off season, I don't know what it is. Maybe just a hunch. Like everyone's talking about the Bumanders and the Cowboys, and I mean maybe it's just what you're thinking because right now I'm hating them more. Regardless of what, just the things that the Giants are doing, and this is just another thing that's proving that they may be our biggest threat because they're keeping a calm, stable camp going on right now. They showed up a few holes that they had, and we're gonna see what goes on with them. But I mean, other than that, none of these teams really scare me. Think we're going to sweep the whole division. Other people may have told you that. I didn't say that. Regardless of what, man, I think we got this thing snapped up, whacked up, and I just can't wait till Thursday. I think that's all I got here, man. If I forgot to get into something, drop it down in the comments. However, to the next time, it's the best time, in the meantime, between time, keep it a green time. You know what I like to do around this time, about this time, at this time, all the time. It's equals a clock around here. Open your eagle eye, poke your beak in, and give it a ah! And spell it with me. E-A-G-L-E-S. Eagles. Go Birds. Wu-Tang loves birds. Let's get the flock out of here. Woo!